All right. So we're finding distance. Now the big thing is what we're doing here is kind of using Google, and we're using latitude and longitude to help us today. Now we're going to do just one specific type of problem today, and then tomorrow we'll do the second type. So the second type, you only have one of them on the test, so or one of them on the worksheet. 3 out of the 4 problems will be this type today, the first type, latitude and longitude. You're going to be doing a simple formula. This is what we're going to get to. This is the formula that we want to use. It's S equals R times theta to actually calculate, distance between cities, okay, and whatever it is. Now, what this stands for, S, stands for arc length. S is arc length. It's the distance on a curved path. Well, that makes sense. On the globe, globe isn't quite spherical. It's close. It's really close. But you're traveling on a circular path, so you have to follow that pattern. R stands for radius of your circle. It's the radius of your circle. And then your theta, your angle, this is theta, that's how I pronounce it. It is your angle that you're going at. So this is where your latitude and longitude come into play. So we'll kind of walk through that today. If you have a calculator, I'll show you how to use it. If you don't, I have a couple up here you can borrow, but you definitely need one today when we actually get to the math portion of it. All right. Okay, so did everyone understand the formula we're going to be using? It's a really easy formula, right? You just multiply. I think it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. But the problem is you got to know what numbers to plug in. So I'm going to pick a couple cities today. Now, what I mean by pick a couple cities, we actually have to use the major cities map. I'm not going to use like Iowa or anything. Let's go bigger distances. So, all right, let's see. Where's my meters? Okay, so I'm going to hand you out a major cities map, and we're going to use this to kind of pick a couple today. Well, that is a problem. Right in the paper. Didn't foresee that.
Party now, teacher's gone.
Why is Alex gone so much?
Who?
Alex.
I don't know. He's sitting at home doing nothing. I think he had too much air horn and stuff last night.
Air horn.
He was sitting there with an air horn.
Oh my goodness. I can feel you.
Alright.
He did the
Move around.
He's crazy. He has some brain damage.
I think it was 6 pieces of paper in it right now.
You came to the store in the sky.
Who?
Alex,
In the store?
in the store and
So yeah, so we'll get started here in a minute. I'm going to give you your major cities map here in a second, and then we'll go through a couple examples here.
I'm not killed by.
Won't surprise me.
Why do you think I'm wondering? Not saying you should get them.
But you,
I don't know.
it's kind of
why is he missing one?
Okay. Okay, major cities map, here you go.
I don't really understand why they say even them go.
Here you go.
They let him go. They're just trying to search for
No,
him.
they let me go to a Halloween party.
Alright.
last night, and I came home.
Okay, yep. All right, so everyone's got their major cities map. We're just going to use this. It's not for the purpose of like figuring out latitude and longitude. It's actually looking at it because we got to figure out where the cities are. And so that's what I actually use this for. So now, today we're only gonna do one type. The other type of problem we're gonna do tomorrow, so Graph, you'll have to watch the video on that fourth one for tomorrow.
Can I just zoom in?
Yeah, I'll let you zoom in. So, send you a link tomorrow. Probably should have done that for Alex. I didn't even think about that. All right, so we're gonna pick two cities that are either directly east and west of each other or directly north and south. That's the first type of
Colorado
problem.
and Kansas.
Okay, Colorado and Kansas. Let's go like Topeka and
Pueblo
Colorado
and-
Springs. Let's do those two. So we're gonna do Topeka, Kansas. So Topeka, Kansas. So Topeka, Kansas, and we're gonna go to Colorado Springs, Colorado. Colorado. Okay. All right. So we're gonna try to figure out the distance. So here's what you need to do first. I need to know the latitude and longitude of both of these cities. Okay, I have this itching feeling the north and south, their latitude numbers are the same because they're almost directly east-west of each other. But the only thing that'll be off will be their longitude numbers, the west numbers. So that's what I need. I need to know the latitude and longitude of each. Now, when you look it up on Google, I type in Topeka, Kansas on Google and type in coordinates. And it will give you your numbers. I want at least 4 to 5 decimal places. So I need to know the coordinates, so that's what you'll type in.
Some of these computers are so slow.
I think it's not the computer, I believe it's the internet we have around here. It's really bad. Yesterday it was painful to try to do an online Zoom yesterday.
I bet it was.
Oh, it was painful. All right.
So like, teachers were like talking about like whether we should go like every other Wednesday have off for like onliners.
That was an idea we were having.
We should do it, I think.
We're still in the discussion on it. All right, coordinates. Anyone have the coordinates for Topeka, Kansas? Anyone type it in Google?
39.0473
0473 degrees north.
and then 95.67 52.
52 degrees west. Okay, so there's your coordinates for that. Perfect, thank you. Somebody else now. I need the coordinates for Colorado Springs.
38.8339 north.
8339 degrees north, okay.
104.8214 west.
4 degrees west. Okay, so. Okay, and these are the coordinates for Colorado Springs. All right, now, why this is important. Do you agree that these numbers are almost exactly the same?
Yeah.
39.8 and 39. I mean, they're so close, in fact, I'm going to ignore them. Typically I would. I'm going to ignore them in this case, just to make this problem easier. The main numbers I am looking at are the other two, the west numbers. These, to me, are too far away from each other. Okay? 104 and 95. That is a significant difference in degrees on the globe. So by knowing these two numbers, just knowing those two, not the north numbers, it's knowing the west numbers, I can figure out the distance between them because they're at a major discrepancy from each other. And so that's where this comes into play. Okay? Does that make sense? Just knowing those two numbers. So this is the first type. The first type of problem is always where they're just off either east and west or they're off north and south, not both at the same time. It's not like, I'm not going diagonally across the country. I'm going just north and south or just east and west. Okay? So, now, we had a number last week for the radius of the Earth. Oh. Okay, radius of the Earth. What do we have? What do you guys find? It was like 395 something, 56, 5.
3958.8.
Okay, that was miles. Remember, that was the number you guys looked up on Google last week. So that was the radius of the Earth. Okay, so that's my R number. So again, this is R. You're going to use that same number for every single problem on that worksheet. Okay. Now we're going to multiply by my angle, my theta, right? Mr. Warrior. I don't have Isaac Newton right now. Yeah, I'm in the middle of lecture, but yeah, he can come down, he can wait just a little bit. sounds good. Thanks. Bye. That was really weird.
Who was that? Logan?
I don't know. Plater? I don't know who that is.
Oh,
Sub?
substitute for Ransom.
Huh. I've never met. So, there you go. So,
She ain't right.
oh, she's fine with it. All right, now, let's go through the angle here. So here's what you need. Do you notice that the angle for north and, for east and west is off? I need to know what the difference is on the east and west number. It's like about, what, 9 degrees, 10 degrees, something like that? Can somebody subtract those two numbers on a calculator for me? 104 point blah, 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 minus the 95 number?
9.1462.
9.1462 degrees. Okay, that's my angle that I'm off by. I'm off by 9 degrees. Okay, that's quite a bit on a planet, by the way. All right, so now what we're gonna do, and this is the part that you need to get kind of figured out. You gotta figure out the difference in angle, which we just did, because that's the angle I'm actually passing through on the Earth. Then you're gonna multiply by pi and divide by 180. That's something that you need to add on every single problem when we do these. Okay? So multiply by pi, divide by 180. On like a test, I'd probably remind you of that. To remind you like what you need to do. All right, so how I would type this in my calculator, it's really straightforward. I would take 3,958.8, take it times 9.1462, take it times pi, and then I'd hit the division button and divide by 180. And then just hit enter. Now, every calculator has a pi button, it's right here. If you don't have a pi button, maybe it's in like the little, you have to hit the little second key and go find pi, it's usually in the, like the bottom row sometimes. You have to hit the little shift key to bring up the pi button. But they usually have a pi button. But what number are we getting? It's gonna be a long distance, by the way. I'm expecting a couple hundred miles.
I got 639.948.
948? Is that right? Is that what you got? Did I say that number right? Did I hear you right? Okay, all right. And that's in miles. So they're 600 miles off from each other. Quite a while. Now, are we good on that? Does that make sense what we just did? Did everyone get that number? Maybe I should start there. Did anyone get a different number on your calculator screen? Or maybe you don't know what to type in. I'm gonna take silences. Yeah, we got that number. Okay, all right. Now, here's the other thing that you need to do. Go on Google. Go to Google Maps. I want you to type that in to Google Maps. Topeka to Colorado Springs. And I want to see what Google says it is. It's gonna be longer because they're gonna have you follow roads. But I actually want to know the distance, driving distance. So we're gonna compare. So this is Google's answer now.
It says 524 miles.
I got 523.9.
23, okay. 524 miles. Okay, and that's drivable distance?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So we're a little bit off. Now,
It's
why would
about
it be
7 hours.
shorter? Well, here's the idea. Why it would be shorter is because, number one, I'm really estimating here, right? The coordinates, they're not exact. And number two is that if you look at your map here, right? We're just kind of ballparking that they're east and west of each other. It could have been a little bit off. You know, the coordinates are going to the middle of the town, not the edge of the fringe of town. Google is going to try to find that shortest path there. The idea is that it's going to be close to me. I'm off by about 110 miles, 109 miles. To me, I'm a little bit off. So something's kind of going on. Either we were a little bit off on maybe the actual like measurements here on the coordinates, which I think those are correct. They sound right to me. But we're off just by a hair, but it's gonna be close. So this is what I'm gonna expect you to do on your homework. I expect you to do this, to give me your answer, and then I want you to compare to what Google would say for the distance between Topeka to Colorado Springs, okay? All right, let's do one more for the day, and then we're finished. One more, that's all I wanna cover. Okay, now, we picked a town that was east-west of each other. That was Colorado and Kansas. Let's go with towns that are north and south of each other. Let's go with like Helena, Montana, and Phoenix, Arizona. We're gonna pick towns that are really far away from each other now. North and south anyway.
Why are you doing that to us for?
It's good, it's good, it's good. All right, so let me put in our new towns here. Oh, I just erased the word coordinate. Okay, all right, so Helena, Montana. Helena, Montana, and we're going Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know the abbreviations. I'm really bad at that. I don't know the abbreviations of these states. Probably should look those up. All right. Helena, Montana. What's my coordinates? Again, why I give you the major cities map, it's really easy to see where they're at. So you can see if they're north, south, or east, west of each other. So I need the coordinates for Helena, and I need somebody to look up the coordinates for Phoenix.
46.5891.
5893. 591. Okay, like that. Okay, that's degrees north. What about west?
112.0391.
0391. Degrees west. Okay. All right, that was good. Okay, so there's your Helena, Montana number. Okay. Now, for my next one, for Phoenix.
46.8480 north.
And
45.2520 west.
okay. Oh yeah. You said 45 degrees. What was the west number you said?
West was 45.2520.
Can't be.
Wait, hold on.
I got
I got
33.44
Give me a
for the
second.
north, and then 112.07.
Okay. Say that again for Phoenix.
33.4484.
484. And
112.0740.
like that.
My computer auto-corrected. Correcting to Montana.
Oh, interesting. Phoenix, Montana. Okay. All right. Anyway, okay. So if we look at these numbers, do you see that the west numbers are almost the same? They're directly on top of each other. The west, they're the same west distance from the prime meridian. They're just north and south of each other. They're off by about 12 degrees. It looks like north and south of each other. Can somebody actually subtract those numbers for me? I need to know what the degree is. 46.5891 minus the 33.4484. If we actually subtract those, what do we get? It's going to be about 12 something. Maybe 13 point something.
13.1407.
1407?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty big. Is our radius of our Earth correct? Is that the 3958 number that we had last time? Okay.
So is that going to be the final for all of it, like all the time? Or?
Yeah, so the radius doesn't change. The planet's radius will stay the same. The pi over 180 will stay the same. So what you're just finding is you're finding the difference in your angle. If it's north, south, or east, west of each other. Tomorrow we're going to look at one where it's diagonal. There's a lot more math you have to do. That's why I put that one as the last from in the worksheet. And you have to use almost the whole back to figure it out on that worksheet. So we're going to do some serious math tomorrow. All right, so now let's do a quick calculation here.
So what do you do?
You're going to take 3958.8. You're going to multiply by
958.8.
You're going to multiply by 13.1407. You're going to multiply by pi, divided by 180.
907.944766.
477 miles. So is that what you just said? 907?
Yep.
Okay, 907 miles. A long distance, by the way. It's about halfway across the U.S. If you're going left to right. Okay. Now, Google. What does Google say? If you were to look up Google distance between Helena, Montana, and Phoenix,
I'm guessing probably 9.
I'm expecting probably 1,000.
I'm probably guessing 950 or 9. 45.
So you Google it for Google Maps and see what the driving distance is.
1,144.
Or 1,203.
Okay, because they're probably two different, yeah. So, okay, so yeah, so we're a little bit off, we're about off by about 100 miles. It seems like it's about 100 miles each time we did it, so there's a little bit of a discrepancy there. So.
Did you want your maps back?
Yeah, actually. So, yeah, take those back. And we can use those tomorrow. Okay.
I won't be your
Two of the maps.
There's your map.
Oh, yeah. We had homework due today. If you didn't turn that in, that was the big Iowa map problem today, because I know some people were gone the other day
I
for that.
have two
Thank-
more.
No one was here.
What was that?
I have the last two columns there.
Keep working on. I'd rather have you get it right than worry about it. So.
If you write
Okay, I'll take those major cities maps. We'll use those tomorrow. So.